So I'm going to read two poems, and then the poem or the prose poem that appears in the wonderful book that is for free. Bat. All that time you spend in the mirror, your best to gauge attractiveness, how an eye is to suggest alertness, innocence, coquettish come, all the more to belladonna your frightened arch kitties. Are we to judge the lives you've lived? If not for hide to hold skeletons, your ugly would be eating the floor. Some of us carry it to show or to tell, and listening closely you see it. The concave part where your missing love resonates back its garlic fart nectar, and you wonder how I could kiss her. Little dear. She drinks and passers go by, sings Vandross, lets me linger between blinks with no odor that I am here. I'm tempted to give up on sound to labor in her love. I can't go wrong, she's a prize of her species. Pull up my sleeves, grab the boombox and stand without outlet, disappear before her curtains part. She felt my 10-speed jet. Her whole body lightning awesome, beneath her laughter shimmers a bolt. Her birthmark traveled since her birth, now stationed over heart, and we have the same Cuba. I'm giddy, forgot to answer her question with my name. She will forget my portrait in these museums. We miss seeing full circle by 50 degrees. I step outside her blind spots in summer there. Hold still, I tell my feet. Please meet noon even as thirsty and irritable virgins. I'm lured by my nature, persistent as a root. To enter home range without a gift in hand is as rude as weeds. Willing to share all that is extra beneath my flesh, bone, platelets, eggs, or whatever she craves. There is something silk and right about her, water generous and hair good to breathe. She read the cards and they said a king would bring her roses and fruits, whatever. His mother is late again. When she comes in, she brings her hurricane and switches in a fog of a mood. You can't see her face because it's creased up and bothered, and it's everyone's fault, including his. We know this trouble he's giving me is anticipation for being slapped upside his head. It's usually Derek and Taniqua who are the last fourth graders left, and when her brother, who comes in smelling like grape-flavored marijuana, picks her up, Derek makes no peace with the seat. Miss, let me walk out with tea and see if my mom is out there. I tell him no. He sighs from the depth of his oppression, and I eye the basket of fruit we're given for the kids' snack. He couldn't be bribed with an orange because, miss, I got an orange tree in my backyard. Please with that. Well then. Never before have I experienced a person rejecting a piece of fruit because they have a supply growing in a place they can easily access. Never had I a fruit tree or a backyard for that matter. This is my first time teaching in Oakland since moving from Brooklyn a few months ago. He's leaning on the doorframe, waiting for his mother's footsteps. Derek, considering this new information you've shared, I proclaim you the king of Fruitvale. How about you make me some art? I walk over to him with loose leaf. After the side-eye appraisal, a long drink of a stare down the hallway, he takes a sheet and then takes his time shaping the paper into a gun. Once his origami is done, he searches all the crayon baskets and markers too for the black ones, colors it until it is blue, and tells me to put my hands up, showing me he did a good job. I can't resist. I give him more paper, tell him we need some flowers. He tells me cardboard makes a better vest. His eyes are on the empty box that the reams of post-consumer paper came in, and he cocks his head to the side, eyes full of charm, and says, "It's good to recycle." I roll my eyes and give in, respond, "Grab a ruler off my desk, we'll do this right." I measure the width and length of his chest and back and let him know we're going to make this in 3 pieces and duct tape the parts together. He agrees that's a good idea and tells me about the time his older brother made a robot costume out of boxes from the liquor store because those ones were the stronger ones, and then he used some of that silver pipe stuff that goes on the drying machine. He takes the measurements for the panel in his composition notebook and suggests that we use the sides of the box for the chess pieces. I ask, "What will we use for your back?" He looks at me confident and smirking, shifting into his boy-splaining mode. "Miss White, it's obvious, the bottom of the box." I check him, tell him you better watch yourself. He's tickled and his smile is genuine. We get to drawing out the shapes using only pencil just in case we make mistakes, and the design gets modified along the way. We cut out the pieces, and then when it comes time for the duct tape, he says, "Miss, you must be kidding me." He's holding hot pink and leopard printed duct tapes. Why would you even have these? The look on his face like he has his grandma's panties in one hand and a sack of shit in the other, and I'm tearing up with laughter. I got them because they were on sale, and he shakes his head at me because this is a poor excuse by his standard. He decides on the leopard print, and I agree that the leopard is quite a fierce and fearless cat. He pulls off a piece of tape and rips it off with his teeth. Not a cat, miss, a leopard. I want people to have that in their mind, not those cats they be seeing in the streets or their cats they name Whiskers or Tiffany. This is a good point, and I offer him the scissors for the next strip, but instead he holds out the piece of duct tape for me to cut, and we work like this for nearly an hour until the vest is almost incomplete, and we hear the mother's footsteps coming down the hall, but mostly we hear her voice, that tension as she tells the other person on the line, "I gotta call you back, I'm at Derek's school picking him up." And by the time she reaches the door and tells him, "Hurry up now, I don't got all day," he has his vest on underneath his cardigan, and the gun is inside his composition notebook, and the notebook is in his backpack, and he tells me, "I'll make some flowers at home and pick you an orange, miss." Thank you.